Welcome back, everybody. It's Monday, June 9th, 2025. Today, believe it or not, is National Earl Day. So to all the Chief Justices, Foggy Mountain Breakdowners, and Charlie Danielses of the Torque Ranch that this applies to, y'all have yourself a day. Here's a trivia fun fact. The Sammy Kershaw song I just referenced, for those who caught that, was written by Dennis Lind. And he also wrote Goodbye Earl for the Dixie Chicks. A big Earl guy, that Dennis Lind. Also wrote Elvis's Hunka Hunka Burnin' Love, but there's no Earl in that one. Today, we have a capital punishment case heading to the Supreme Court, the end of the line for another newspaper, and what to do if you get an urgent text from the Alabama DMV. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama.
Some things are simple. Putting $1,500 per year back in families' pockets, good. Hitting hardworking Americans with a $4.5 trillion tax hike, not good. Unleashing affordable American energy, good. Wasting money on Green New Deal scams, not good. Securing our borders, good. A broken immigration system, not good. America needs lower taxes, more energy, and stronger borders. Congress, the time to act is now. Learn more at protectprosperity.com. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
The United States Supreme Court may decide whether Alabama can execute convicted killer Joseph Clifton Smith after lower courts determined that Smith could be considered intellectually disabled, reports the Associated Press. Smith's IQ has been tested, resulting in scores just a whisper above the threshold of 70, which means that if he scored just a little worse on the test, he'd clearly be disabled. The state has argued that he's been tested several times and always stayed above 70. Well, 4 years ago, senior U.S. District Judge Callie Grenade wrote, quote, "As the court stated previously, this is a close call, but the evidence indicates that Smith's intelligence and adaptive functioning has been deficient throughout his life. Smith's intelligence falls at the low end of the borderline range of intelligence and at worst at the high end of the required significantly sub-average intellectual functioning." And then 2 years ago, the U.S. 11th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld that ruling. Then on Friday, a technological glitch at the Supreme Court released an order early that revealed the court will hear the case. Oops. Justices will likely hear arguments in the case this fall. Smith was convicted in the 1997 murder of Dirk Van Dam. Smith confessed, although he gave conflicting versions of the killing. According to a forensic pathologist, Van Dam died after receiving 35 blunt force injuries to his body. The Demopolis Times in Marengo County has stopped publishing, reports AL.com's William Thornton. In 1905, the Demopolis Express and Demopolis Dispatch newspapers were bought, combined, and named the Demopolis Times. Now, it would publish decades as a daily newspaper and in recent years as a weekly on Wednesdays. Earlier this year, Boone newspaper sold the Times, along with the Andalusia Star News, the Atmore Advance, and the Bruton Standard, to Jeff and Michelle Schumacher. Said Jeff Schumacher, "It just isn't feasible to continue with the limited support we've received from the community," end quote. Now, according to the Montgomery Advertiser, the Demopolis Times had to weather a fire in July 1941 that destroyed its newspaper offices and printing plant. According to the report, the fire was started after gasoline was used to clean the type machine the paper had to print in Selma. Look, I've used gas to clean parts before, but never at the office. That had to at least void a warranty or something. Now, to those of you who were around in 1941, I say this in general, y'all were bold. What the Japanese were thinking a few months later, I'll never understand. If you receive a text from the Alabama Department of Vehicles or the Alabama DMV, it's a scam. reports AL.com's Mark Heim. So how do you know for sure that it's not from the actual Alabama DMV? Well, because there is no Alabama DMV. In Alabama, we get our driver licenses from the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's Driver License Division, and we register our vehicle with the Revenue Department. Aaliyah is warning folks about a phishing scam demanding payment for traffic tickets that don't exist. It recently made its way to Alabama. Now remember, if you get a text or an email that tells you that you'd better hurry up and pay up quickly, then you probably need to slow down and not click on anything. Thank y'all so much for listening to us. We're going to be back here in the morning. Until then, y'all come by and see what we're up to on the internet at al.com.